5'9", I don't think I'm a particularly small booktuber, but if we're talking subscribers, then yes, I definitely am. Hi everyone, Rosie here. Welcome back to my channel. This is a video that's been a long time coming. I've been tagged to do the Small Booktuber Tag at least 3 times by my count. Emrita of Emrita by the Book, and Sunny of Sunny Luca, and Jess of Jess the Book Freak have all mentioned me in this tag. Thank you guys so much. There might have also been others that I forgot to write down, in which case I am sorry. I still totally appreciate you tagging me. When Emrita did this, however, she mentioned that she was doing it for her 75th video, and I thought that's such a good way to mark a milestone video. So I immediately decided to copy her idea and do the Small Booktuber Tag for my 50th video. Honestly, even just talking about this being my 50th video is kind of crazy and wild, so I'm glad I had something that was kind of pre-decided and safe, because otherwise I'd be like, 50 videos? This is crazy! I did not expect to make this much. What am I even gonna do? The first question is to introduce yourself. As you probably all know, my name is Rosie. I'm 26 years old. I live in Gatineau, which is the forgotten half of Canada's National Capital Region. I feel a bit like I'm doing a job interview at this point, but I studied economics in school with a focus on labor econ, and I now work as a researcher for the Canadian federal government. On a more interesting note, other than reading, some of my hobbies include cooking and baking, except I cannot cook when I'm hungry. I really enjoy cooking and I love planning fun meals to make on the weekends, but weekdays are like entirely leftovers because otherwise I would eat nothing except popcorn, chips, and salsa. That's not a great way to live. And I actually started getting into baking this year as well. I never was in the past, but I've been having a lot of fun trying different baked goods, and I really enjoy doing that. I also really like watching the same TV shows over and over and over because I find it really hard to get invested in new shows and to find new shows that I really like. So often when I want to watch TV, I'd rather just go back to something I know I love. In before times, I was really into traveling and I really liked visiting new places and exploring new places, or quite frankly even just exploring my hometown but trying to treat it not like my hometown but like somewhere I was visiting. That's something that hopefully I'll get back to at some point, but for now that's kind of on pause and I'm truly indulging my introverted homebody self. Question 2 is, how long have you been on Booktube? As of when this is going live, it'll be about 6.5 months, which is honestly mind-blowing. I didn't start my channel expecting to make 3 videos and then quit, but I think I sort of low-key assumed that that would be the case, that I would try it out for a couple weeks, go, oh gosh, this is so hard, I'm not interested in putting this much work into this, or I don't know what I thought. I didn't think I'd still be here at 50 videos and 6 months later with so much more plans for the future than what I've already done, so it's just so exciting, guys. Question 3 is, what type of videos do you make? I think I make pretty standard booktube videos. I do my monthly wrap-ups, I do some reading vlogs, usually about 1 a month, but I've been taking a bit of a break in December, January. I do individual book reviews. That's something I didn't do at the start and that I've been getting more and more into. Of course, I do tag videos, and one of the things that has been a real surprise for me is how much I like monthly TBRs, or TBRs for a readathon type thing. I had never been a person to make a TBR list for the month. For my reading, I've always had a list of books I wanted to read, but I always just finished one and picked another one up. Or when I felt bored halfway through one, I picked another one up. I've always been a multiple books at a time reader. What I realized is making a monthly TBR is actually so amazing for me because I get the worst analysis paralysis. If I have too many options to choose from, say for example when I'm trying to choose my next read from a list of 200 books that I might want to read, it's too hard to choose that one book. Because what if I choose wrong? What if it's not the right book? What if I should have read something else? What if I'll enjoy something else more? And I end up just not reading anything. But when I go through at the beginning of the month and I make a list of 10 books, that's a bit easier because then there's more things you put in. You're not having to pick 1 out of 200. It's 10 out of 200. And then I can pick from the 10, and that's, I know it sounds silly, but it has made such a huge difference. I recently had the experience of reading all the books on my monthly TBR sort of at the start of my Christmas holidays, and then I didn't know what to read next because there were so many different books I wanted to read, and I got stressed out because I had 5 books I wanted to read and I knew I was only gonna have time to read 2 of them, and that was an experience and I have learned from it, and I have come to appreciate my monthly TBRs so much. My camera battery is getting low, so I should try and ramble less for the following questions. Speaking of which, question 4 is, what do you love about Booktube? Now, obviously, I love the Booktube community. I love all of the people I have met and all of the friends I have made. Starting this channel has been so incredible for putting me in contact with people who I so enjoy talking to and who I never would have met without this. That being said, I also really love having a hobby where I create something. I did not expect this to be such an important element for me, but before I started Booktube, basically all of my hobbies were passive or consuming things hobbies. So I read books and I watched shows and I hung out with friends and I did that sort of thing. It's not like I didn't do anything fun, but I didn't do anything fun that had something at the end. Obviously, it's not something tangible, like if I'd taken up a pottery class or something, but going through the process of planning and filming and editing and then posting a video is so cool because it's something active that I'm doing towards an end goal. I'm creating something. It's the first creative thing I've done since high school, I think, and that is so much fun. I did not know that that was something that was missing from my life until I started and realized how much I enjoy it. Question 5 is, what types of books do you read? This feels like a cop-out, but I read a lot of different stuff. I read fiction and nonfiction. I read a lot of different subgenres within both of those. So I thought it would be faster if I list out a couple that I really don't read much at all. I can't stand dystopian because it makes me really anxious. I don't have much interest in middle grade or YA. Every now and then a book comes out and the way everyone else is talking about it, I think, oh, I should pick that up. I know it's middle grade, but it sounds incredible. And then I realize I don't enjoy reading books that were written for children now that I'm not a child. And that's nothing against those books. That's nothing against people who like reading those books. I know they're great. They're just not something I'm really interested in. And then another one that I guess I'm not at all interested in, that probably isn't surprising, is your traditional self-help, if that makes sense. I know there's some self-help books out now that actually do sound really interesting. My partner's been looking into Atomic Habits and telling me about that, and that sounds incredible. And I know Lana talks about a lot of books that probably fall under the category of self-help and that sounds super interesting and great, but I'm not interested in what I think of when I think self-help, if that makes sense. Question 6 is, what's your favorite video that you've made? I might be biased a bit by the fact that this one did well, but I really like my Why is Tolkien's Writing So Cozy video. This one was really sort of a different take for me. It was a very different style to most of my videos, and I wasn't too sure about it. I liked it. It felt sort of vulnerable to make and to post in ways that other videos don't so much. So seeing it do well and seeing people respond positively to it has been so great, and I definitely do want to make more videos like that in the future. It's just that I think it needs to be the right book and the right theme. That's not something that I can force. I need to find the things where I have that sort of idea or that sort of passion and then make a video about it, not the other way around. And then, because I can't possibly choose only one favorite, I also want to mention my video I made about the process of signing up for the Storygraph, which is an amazing website and alternative to Goodreads that you should probably check out if you're interested in great stats about your reading. But this video was, again, just very different from most of what I make. Maybe that's why these ones stick out as favorites. It's hard to think of a monthly wrap-up as a favorite because it's so similar to all the others. I don't know, this one was cool. It was kind of experimental. I really enjoyed it, and I think it's been interesting. Question 7 is, tag at least 4 small booktube channels or just shout out everyone you can think of. At this point, I have a lot of people I want to mention and I can't keep track of who has done this video and who hasn't. So I'm going to shout out a bunch of channels and you should check them all out. If any of you are interested in doing this tag, consider this a tag, whether I shout you out or not. I would love to see everyone else's answers, but I know a lot of people have already done this. So I'm going to read this out because it's a long list. I would like to shout out Bethan Berninga Sokoler, Book Talks with Yo, Bookmarks and Breadsticks, Fully Booked, Hey Y'all Listen Up, Jeremy Fee, Joe Loves to Read, Katie Reads and Rants, Lady Jane Books, Lana Ex Libris, Literarily Smitten, Literary Musings, Lou Reading Things, Nerdy Nat Reads, Nikki's Books, Potato Brarian, Shauna K, Vellum and Velicor, Tara North, The Librarian of Alexandria, The PM Reader, and Very Literary Carrie. So of course all of those channels will be linked down below. If there's any there that you don't already follow, I highly recommend going and checking them out. I love all of their content. That does also, however, bring us to the end of this video, so let me know. Introduce yourself a bit down below. I'd like to get to know you guys as well. Tell me a bit about yourself or your reading or your Small Booktube channel that I should totally check out because I'm always on the hunt for more. As always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more of my videos in the future, please hit subscribe. Thank you for watching!